Hi there. Thank you for being here today. Before we begin, I want to ask you something simple. Have you ever looked like you had it all together, but deep down, felt like you were falling apart? If so, this story is for you. It's a story about pressure, about burnout, and about what happens when success comes at the cost of your health, your relationships, and your identity. This is I looked successful at work, but inside, I was dying. My burnout story. Let's begin. The shimmering facade of success is a dangerous thing. A tea gleams under the harsh fluorescent lights of corporate offices, reflecting back the ambitious glow of those striving for. What exactly? I used to know, or at least I thought I did. My name is Elias Thorne, and for years, I was the golden boy at StellarTech Solutions. A meticulously tailored suit, a confident stride, a razor-sharp mind that could dissect complex algorithms before breakfast. That was the image I projected, the image everyone bought, the image I desperately clung to, even as the foundations crumbled beneath my feet. My office, perched high on the 47th floor, offered a panoramic view of the city. Skyscrapers clawed at the sky, monuments to ambition and relentless growth. Ironic, considering the view was the only expansive thing in my increasingly constricted world. The walls, painted a sterile shade of corporate beige, seemed to be closing in. The endless meetings, the relentless deadlines, the incessant pressure to innovate, it was all a suffocating weight, pressing down on me, stealing the air from my lungs. It started subtly, a persistent headache that refused to yield to painkillers. Sleepless nights filled with racing thoughts, replaying past conversations, anticipating future challenges, a gnawing anxiety that settled in my stomach like a cold stone. I dismissed it all as stress, a natural byproduct of my demanding career, just part of the game, I'd tell myself, forcing a smile as I downed another cup of coffee, fueling the engine that was rapidly burning out. My team, a group of bright, dedicated individuals, looked up to me. I was their leader, their mentor, the one who charted the course. How could I admit that I was lost at sea, adrift in a fog of exhaustion and despair? How could I confess that the confident pronouncements I delivered in board meetings were merely carefully constructed facades, masking a deep-seated fear of failure? Imposter syndrome. The insidious voice whispering in my ear, telling me I wasn't good enough, that I didn't deserve my success, that it was all a matter of time before I was exposed as a fraud. It was a constant companion, lurking in the shadows. Feeding on my insecurities, I tried to silence it with more work, more achievements, more accolades, but the more I achieved, the louder the voice became. It was a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating nightmare. My personal life suffered. My wife, Sarah, a vibrant artist with a passion for life, watched me slowly disappear behind a wall of work. Our conversations dwindled, replaced by strained silences and hurried goodbyes. The laughter that once filled our home was now a distant memory. I was so consumed by my professional anxieties that I failed to see the pain in her eyes, the growing distance between us. One evening, Sarah confronted me. "Elias," she said, her voice trembling, "I don't know who you are anymore. You're always working, always stressed. You're not present. You're not you." Her words hit me like a physical blow. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, to explain the pressure I was under, but I couldn't, because deep down, I knew she was right. I had lost myself in the pursuit of success, sacrificing my health, my happiness, my relationships along the way. The breaking point came during a crucial presentation to a major client. I had spent weeks preparing, meticulously crafting every slide, rehearsing every word. But as I stood before the board, the carefully constructed facade began to crumble. My mind went blank, my hands trembled, my voice cracked. I stammered, stumbled, and ultimately failed to deliver the presentation. The look of disappointment on the clients' faces was crushing. I excused myself, rushing to the nearest restroom. I locked myself in a stall and broke down. Tears streamed down my face. A torrent of pent-up emotions finally released. I was exhausted, defeated, and utterly broken. That was the day I realized I couldn't go on like this. I needed help. I needed to prioritize my health, my well-being, my life. The first step was admitting I had a problem. It was terrifying, humbling, and ultimately liberating. I confessed to Sarah, pouring out my fears, my anxieties, my struggles. She listened patiently, offering comfort and support. I told my boss, Mr. Harrison, a surprisingly understanding man, that I needed to take a leave of absence. He was concerned but supportive, offering me access to the company's employee assistance program. The EAP connected me with a therapist, Dr. Anya Sharma. She was a compassionate and insightful woman who helped me unpack the years of accumulated stress and anxiety. Through therapy, I began to understand the root of my imposter syndrome, the unrealistic expectations I had placed on myself, and the unhealthy coping mechanisms I had developed. Dr. Sharma introduced me to mindfulness techniques, teaching me how to quiet the racing thoughts in my mind, to be present in the moment, to appreciate the simple things in life. I started practicing meditation, spending just a few minutes each day focusing on my breath, letting go of the worries and anxieties that plagued me. I also made changes to my lifestyle. I started exercising regularly, taking long walks in the park, feeling the sun on my skin, the wind in my hair. I rediscovered my love of cooking, preparing healthy meals for myself and Sarah. We started spending more quality time together, reconnecting as a couple, rediscovering the joy in each other's company. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, days when I felt like giving up, but I persevered, supported by Sarah, Dr. Sharma, and a growing sense of self-awareness. Slowly but surely, I began to heal. The anxiety subsided. The sleepless nights became less frequent. The imposter syndrome lost its grip. I started to find joy in my work again, not as a means of proving my worth, but as a source of intellectual stimulation and personal fulfillment. After 3 months, I returned to StellarTech a changed man. I was no longer the driven, perfectionistic workaholic I once was. I was more balanced, more grounded, more authentic. I set boundaries, prioritizing my health and well-being. I delegated tasks, trusting my team to handle the responsibilities. I learned to say no, refusing to take on more than I could handle. Mr. Harrison noticed the change. Elias, he said, you seem different, healthier, happier. I am, I replied, smiling genuinely. I finally realized that success isn't worth sacrificing my health for. My story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that the pursuit of success can be a dangerous trap. It's easy to get caught up in the relentless pressure to achieve, to climb the corporate ladder, to impress our peers. But it's important to remember that our health, our happiness, and our relationships are far more valuable than any job title or financial reward. If you're struggling with burnout, anxiety, or imposter syndrome, please know that you're not alone. Many of us have been there. The first step is admitting you have a problem and seeking help. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist. Prioritize your health and well-being. Set boundaries. Learn to say no, and remember that success is not worth sacrificing your life for. It's been 2 years since my breakdown. I'm still at StellarTech, but my perspective has completely shifted. I now mentor younger employees, sharing my experiences and encouraging them to prioritize their well-being. I advocate for mental health resources within the company, pushing for a culture that values employees as people, not just as productivity machines. Sarah and I are closer than ever. We've rediscovered our shared passions, taking weekend trips to art galleries and hiking in the mountains. We communicate openly and honestly, supporting each other through thick and thin. I still have moments of doubt, Days when the old anxieties creep back in, but I now have the tools and the support system to manage them. I practice mindfulness, exercise regularly, and prioritize sleep. I know that my worth is not defined by my accomplishments, but by my character, my relationships, and my ability to live a meaningful life. The view from my office is still breathtaking, but now, when I look out at the city, I see not just monuments to ambition, but also reminders of the importance of balance, resilience, and self-care. I see a city full of people striving for success, and I hope that my story can inspire them to do so in a way that doesn't sacrifice their health and happiness. The journey to recovery isn't linear. There are good days and bad days, but the key is to keep moving forward, to keep learning, to keep growing. I've learned to be kinder to myself, to forgive my mistakes, and to celebrate my successes. No matter how small, I've learned that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. Sharing my struggles has allowed me to connect with others on a deeper level and to build meaningful relationships. One of the most significant changes I've made is in my definition of success. I used to measure success by my achievements, my accolades, my position in the company. Now, I measure success by my well-being, my relationships, and my ability to make a positive impact on the world. I've realized that true success is not about accumulating wealth or power, but about living a life that is aligned with my values. I've also become an advocate for mental health awareness in the workplace. I've organized workshops and seminars to educate employees about stress management, burnout prevention, and imposter syndrome. I've shared my own story in these forums, hoping to break the stigma surrounding mental health and encourage others to seek help when they need it. The response has been overwhelming. Many employees have come to me privately, sharing their own struggles and expressing gratitude for creating a safe space to talk about mental health. It's been incredibly rewarding to know that my experience has helped others feel less alone and more empowered to prioritize their well-being. I've learned that leadership is not just about driving results, but about creating a supportive and inclusive environment where employees can thrive. It's about fostering a culture of empathy, compassion, and understanding. It's about recognizing that our employees are our greatest asset and that their well-being is essential to our success. Looking back, I'm grateful for the breakdown I experienced. It was a painful and difficult time, but it ultimately led me to a path of healing, growth, and purpose. It taught me the importance of self-care, the value of relationships, and the power of vulnerability. It transformed me from a driven workaholic into a more balanced, compassionate, and authentic leader. My journey is far from over. I'm still learning, still growing, still striving to live a more meaningful life, but I'm now equipped with the tools and the mindset to navigate the challenges that come my way. I'm committed to prioritizing my health and well-being, to nurturing my relationships, and to making a positive impact on the world. And to anyone who is struggling with burnout, anxiety, or imposter syndrome, I want to say, you're not alone. There is hope. You can heal. You can thrive. Just remember to prioritize your health, seek help when you need it, and never give up on yourself. The corporate world often glorifies long hours and relentless dedication, but it rarely acknowledges the human cost. We're told to push ourselves harder, to achieve more, to always be on, but this relentless pursuit of external validation can lead to a profound disconnect from our inner selves. We forget to listen to our bodies, to honor our emotions, to nurture our spirits. This is why self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. It's not about being selfish or indulgent. It's about being responsible for our own well-being. It's about setting boundaries, prioritizing our needs, and making choices that support our health and happiness. It's about recognizing that we cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-care can take many forms. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, going for a walk in nature, or spending time with loved ones. It can be as profound as seeking therapy, changing careers, or reevaluating our life priorities, the key is to find what works for us and to make it a regular part of our lives. In my own experience, self-care has been a game changer. It's helped me to manage stress, to improve my mood, to enhance my relationships, and to increase my overall sense of well-being. It's also made me a more effective leader. When I'm taking care of myself, I'm better able to take care of others. But self-care is not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works for me may not work for you. It's important to experiment and to find what resonates with your own unique needs and preferences. It's also important to be patient with yourself. It takes time to develop healthy habits and to overcome ingrained patterns of behavior. The most important thing is to start. Don't wait until you're burned out or overwhelmed to prioritize self-care. Start today with just one small step. Take a few minutes to meditate, to stretch, or to connect with a friend. Every little bit counts, and remember, you're worth it. You deserve to be healthy, happy, and fulfilled. Don't let the pressures of the corporate world rob you of your joy and your well-being. Prioritize self-care and create a life that is aligned with your values. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. Over the past year, I've also dedicated myself to learning more about nutrition and its impact on mental health. I've discovered the profound connection between what we eat and how we feel. Processed foods, sugary drinks, and excessive caffeine can exacerbate anxiety and depression, while a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can promote mental clarity and emotional stability. I've made significant changes to my own diet, reducing my intake of processed foods and increasing my consumption of nutrient-dense foods. I've also started taking supplements, such as omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D, which have been shown to have positive effects on mental health. The results have been remarkable. I feel more energized, more focused, and more emotionally balanced. I've also become a proponent of exercise as a form of therapy. Physical activity releases endorphins, which have mood-boosting effects. It also helps to reduce stress, improve sleep, and increase self-esteem. I've found that even a short walk or a quick workout can make a significant difference in my mental state. I've incorporated exercise into my daily routine, making it a non-negotiable part of my day. I go for a run in the park, lift weights at the gym, or practice yoga at home. The type of exercise doesn't matter as much as the consistency. The key is to find something that you enjoy and to make it a habit. Sleep is another crucial factor in mental health. Insufficient sleep can lead to irritability, difficulty concentrating, and an increased risk of anxiety and depression. I've made sleep a priority in my life, establishing a regular sleep schedule and creating a relaxing bedtime routine. I go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Even on weekends, I avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed. I create a dark, quiet, and cool sleep environment, and I practice relaxation techniques, such as meditation or deep breathing, to calm my mind before sleep. These lifestyle changes have had a profound impact on my mental health. I feel more resilient, more resourceful, and more in control of my own well-being. I'm no longer a victim of my circumstances. I'm an active participant in my own healing, and I believe that anyone can make these changes and experience the same benefits. It's not about being perfect or making drastic changes overnight. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time. It's about prioritizing your health and well-being and taking responsibility for your own mental health. My journey has been a long and winding one, but it's been worth it. I'm now living a life that is more balanced, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, the challenges I've overcome, and the person I've become. And I'm committed to sharing my story with others, hoping to inspire them to prioritize their health and well-being and to create a life that is truly worth living. The final piece of the puzzle has been learning to embrace vulnerability. For years, I equated vulnerability with weakness. I believed that I had to be strong and stoic in order to be successful, but I've come to realize that vulnerability is actually a strength. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to build meaningful relationships, and to create a sense of community. I've started to share my struggles with others, both at work and in my personal life. I've been surprised by the positive response I've received. People have been supportive, understanding, and willing to share their own experiences. I've learned that we're all in this together, and that we can support each other through the challenges of life. Vulnerability has also allowed me to be more authentic. I'm no longer trying to be someone I'm not. I'm embracing my strengths and my weaknesses, my successes and my failures. I'm being true to myself. And I'm encouraging others to do the same. This has created a more open and honest environment at work. People are more willing to share their ideas, to take risks, and to be creative. We're collaborating more effectively, and we're achieving better results. I've learned that vulnerability is not a liability, but an asset. It's also improved my relationships with my family and friends. I'm more present, more engaged, and more emotionally available. I'm listening more attentively, and I'm responding more empathetically. I'm building deeper connections with the people I care about. Vulnerability has transformed my life in countless ways. It's made me a better leader, a better friend, and a better human being. It's allowed me to connect with others on a deeper level, to build meaningful relationships, and to create a sense of community. And I believe that anyone can embrace vulnerability and experience the same benefits. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about being willing to be open, honest, and authentic. It's about sharing your struggles and your successes. It's about being human. So, if you're struggling with burnout, anxiety, or imposter syndrome, I encourage you to embrace vulnerability. Share your story with others. Connect with your community, and remember that you are not alone. My journey has been a long and winding one, but it's been worth it. I'm now living a life that is more balanced, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, the challenges I've overcome, and the person I've become, and I'm committed to sharing my story with others, hoping to inspire them to prioritize their health and well-being, and to create a life that is truly worth living. That shimmering facade, it's now a distant memory, replaced by something far more real, far more sustainable. A life lived with intention, authenticity, and a deep appreciation for the fragility and beauty of being human. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you even just a little, please know you're not alone. Burnout, anxiety, imposter syndrome. These aren't signs of weakness. They're signs that you've been strong for too long, without rest, without space to breathe. If you're feeling overwhelmed, please reach out to a friend, to a therapist, or even to yourself with honesty and kindness. And remember, your health matters, your joy matters, you matter. If you found this story meaningful, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us we're human and we're in this together. Until next time, take care of your mind, your heart, and your truth.